My name is Ronald Lora Castillo. I was born in the Dominican Republic, and I'm here to present some of my artwork. So a broad overview of my work would be inspired by New York street art, artists like Jean-Michel Basquiat, Banksy, and then more impressionist work like Van Gogh, and also Picasso, who borrowed a lot of style from the African tribes, right? So a lot of Eastern Africa. And you can see a lot of that in my stylistic work. It's very primitive, you know. This piece is called Pusher. It's, again, very abstract, primitive work. It's got, the figure in it is confined in the shape of the painting. It's inspired after Sisyphus, who was cursed for eternity to push a boulder off the hill by the gods of Mount Olympus, and basically represents being confined in a role in society. You know, there's such thing as double consciousness, like what is it, are other people perceiving you, and how are you stuck in that role, and how do we push back against that, you know? So, or you can also allude to the struggle of being in general, just like being alive, right? These two pieces are kind of the only portraits I've done. This one up here is I'm okay, I promise. And you know, it's about, obviously, like if you look at the eyes are bugging out, all the chaos in the background, even though they're bright colors, there's a lot of anxiety behind it, and it's kind of a self-portrait, right? It's just not being in a good place, but being optimistic about it in a way. And related to that, this one's called Weeping Sister, which is also kind of a darker image with a crying girl, the night sky, a sunflower sun, you know, so it's got the dichotomy of like hope, the angel wings, and she's got a voice, like there's something coming out of her. Her breath is part of the painting as a form of her essence. Again, with the chaos of life in the background, which is something I like to always add. This one's called Staff Sergeant X. I started playing with the background and just trying to balance all these bright colors. It's one of my favorite things to do, is make a very busy but balanced background. And then I started making the camouflage man, which gave it a military undertone. The stitches in the chest represent PTSD and the pain of war in general. The heart is the sacrifice, you know, having that heart to be able to give that much of yourself. And then these in the background could be interpreted as wings or mountains. I have a brother-in-law that was in Afghanistan, and so some people have said they've seen mountains in them, and I've said, oh yeah, I've also seen wings in them too. This is one of my first paintings, and it's called You Must Change the World. On the left here, we have the partial figure of a face, and the words are written, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world," which is a quote by Mahatma Gandhi, highlighted with dots, kind of like borrowed from Aboriginal style dot painting, are the words, "You must change the world," which is the title of the painting. And if you go over to the right a little bit, you start seeing this blue line represents, could be a vein, could be a river. The airplanes, the truck, and the cars are tied to the necks of these animals, so they're yoking our ecology. Like there's a yoke around our ecology based on our commodities, our travel, our consumption in general. And it's full of little symbols like this one here. It's not equal is not okay. So just no not equal. Like we are again changing the world towards equality. Over here we have the outlines to make a kind of like growing up in Brooklyn. Buildings look like this at night, you know, and then they all have these towers and antennas and satellite dishes on top. And that's, again, going back to media consumption, how our minds are shaped by the world we live in. Down here we have my footprint without a shoe and my footprint with a shoe. and an equal sign in between, and that's also kind of saying that, you know, from the primitive to the modern day, not much has changed. We're still a little wild at heart. My work typically doesn't start with a concept. It starts with like me putting color on the canvas and then seeing something and being inspired. And that's also kind of the way I write, almost like stream of consciousness. So I don't start with something in mind. Something reveals itself to me.